greater enthusiasm go on with book distribution. They will be benefited, and distributors also will be benefited.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for being a part of our short video for ISKCON Sydney Temple. With regards to that, welcome to Sydney once again. It's wonderful to have you here year after year. And I just wanted to ask, since when did you actually start coming to Sydney Temple? It's been quite a lot of years now.
I think the first time I came to Sydney was maybe about 1996 or 7, something like that. It's been quite some time.
Wonderful. So it's a part of your routine now to come to Sydney every year. It's wonderful for us to start the year listening to your classes and stories stories from book distribution, and it inspires a lot of people. And in fact, my next question is with regards to that. When we say Vijaya Prabhu, the next word that comes after that is ISKCON book distributor. You become a synonym with book distribution. How did it happen? What was the trigger point when you decided this was going to be the service?
Well, I didn't ask for it. I joined in Miami, Florida, and I was doing menial service, bhakta, and at one point the temple president, he came to me and he asked, "Are you bold?" I said, "Well, sometimes I can be bold." I guess that was the criteria for being a book distributor. So he said, "All right, we're going to try you out on book distribution tomorrow." So that was 1978. So I was hearing a lot about the importance of book distribution from devotees there, and the momentum was still there that Prabhupada had established about the importance of book distribution. Everybody was distributing books in some way or another, or understood the importance of book distribution. And I'm kind of like an outgoing person. I've been like that. I'm easy to interact with people. So at first we were distributing books at streetlights, and it's very difficult. In Miami, there's a lot of people going to streetlights and selling things, so it was not easy. At one point, I thought maybe there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that would help me, encourage me, and that was Yang hinavyat yantyete purusang purusarsava samaduka sukamdiram somatadvaya kalpate. That one who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both attains liberation. So I thought, all right, you got to be steady, even though it's a little difficult. You got to be tolerant and continue on. So then, after doing that for a couple of months, the streetlights, they asked if I'd like to try the airport. All right. So the airport was a whole other realm, and it was just now you're talking to businessmen, and, travelers, and scientists even sometimes. So I really liked the airport. Very good. Did a lot of books in the airport. I think I distributed books in practically every airport in America.
Joy. They were flying out of your hands.
Yeah.
Why do you think the airport was such a success? You would think it's a place where people are in a hurry to get somewhere. just like the street lights, but still.
Yeah. Well, it's the enthusiasm of the devotees. If you're enthusiastic, I mean, then sometimes that would happen. They'd get a book and they'd think, oh, wait a second, I can't travel with this. I don't have any room, and they'd put it down somewhere or something. So that would happen. But yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, it's amazing. There was one day, my most successful day in the airport, Los Angeles airport. I distributed 100 hardbound Bhagavad Gitas in a day. That was probably my most successful. Yeah, you think about it. People are traveling through. Why would anybody want to buy a book this big? They're traveling through.
What was special on that day? What did you do differently?
What happened was a friend of mine, Kaustubha Prabhu, this was during the marathon. This maybe have been 1993, maybe 1994. He said, Vijay, I think you could do 100 Gitas in the airport. I never thought of that. I said, all right, let me give it a try. And sure enough, Krishna's mercy, they all went out.
I mean, almost all devotees in our movement, we know how important book distribution is and how pleasing it is to Srila Prabhupada and how important it is for us to grow the movement as well. Yet, many devotees are either fearful or shy about getting on book distribution, whether it's a day of the week or a week of the year. You mentioned 2 points in the previous question, enthusiasm and a goal. Do you think these are the 2 things that's vital to becoming not a good book distributor, but just attempting it as well?
Yeah, determination and practice. It's like you practice anything, you get better at it. Even there was one Mataji in 1972. At that time, 73, something like that. At that time, book distribution was really going. Prabhupada he made that statement that everyone should join the Sankirtan team. So everybody was distributing books. So much love for Prabhupada. So there's one lady, she was very shy. And other devotees were doing so big, but she was just determined. She kept on going. And kept praying. At one point she prayed, Krishna, please take away the shyness. Because Prabhupada said, on book distribution, like a lion on the chase. And at home, like a lamb at home. But she was a lamb at home, but she wanted to be like a lion on the chase. Yeah? So Krishna fulfilled her desire, and she became a big book distributor. His name was Gauri Dasi. And she was the first Mataji to distribute 100 big books in the airport. And previous, she was not doing many books at all. But she had that determination, and she was praying. Book distribution is basically about prayer. You got to pray a lot. Pray to be an instrument, pray to understand that people are suffering, they need this knowledge. Pray to understand what this Sankirtan mission is about. Lord Chaitanya started the Sankirtan mission with the purpose of helping people understand who they are, what the goal of life is, what's going to happen in time of death. So many prayers that one learns to say on book distribution. It's an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. It's a great opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. Just like Queen Kunti, she prayed for difficulty. She was such a great devotee because she understood that when difficulties come, that's when we take shelter of Krishna. Practically nobody prays like that. I mean, I've never met anybody that, God, please give me difficulty. You ever meet anybody like that? Nobody prays, God, please give me difficulty. Even as devotees, we try to, avoid difficulties. But a nice thing about book distribution is you're in a situation where you have to take shelter of Krishna because it's a difficulty. Because you're dealing with people, and people can be a little unusual.
Especially
sometimes.
strangers.
Strangers, yeah. So you have to be very tolerant. And and determined. And when you go on book distribution, you want to do something for Krishna. So sometimes it's difficult. So you pray, Krishna, please help me to be an instrument in your hands. I know you want these books to go out. Please help me to be a sincere devotee. Yeah.
What about that thought, what will people think of me?
What will people think of me?
And that causes that hesitancy to do even something.
Well, we're concerned about what Krishna will think of me, rather than what Prabhupada said. If you want to please the people, then dance naked. People. We're not interested in what other people think. We're interested in what Krishna thinks. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that there's so many people, they want to see God, but a devotee wants to act in such a way that God wants to see them. And therefore it's stated in the Vedic literatures, it's stated that I am not in Vaikuntha, I'm not in the hearts of the yogis, but I am wherever my devotees are spreading my glories. So if you want to meet Krishna, go out on book distribution. And Prabhupada said that. He said, one day you'll be out on book distribution and Krishna will come and shake your hand and say, thank you very much.
Wow. Yeah.
So this is something that's very pleasing to Krishna, very pleasing to Prabhupada. And people are becoming devotees. I was pleasantly surprised. I was just in Melbourne recently, giving a class and speaking about book distribution, and one person who had just joined the Bhakti program in Melbourne, he raised his hand, he said, you're the one that gave me a book. He got a book from me in the Gold Coast a couple of years ago. So now he joined the temple.
That must bring you so much happiness to see that. Yeah.
And then 3 years ago, I was at the Woodford Festival up in Sunshine Coast. And after going to the festival, distributing books there and doing a lot of prasadam distribution, we went to the temple, and there was one of the persons I distributed the book to was there with the Woofers program.
Yes. And
then he joined the temple, and now he's up for initiation from Kadambakananda Swami. They're doing a lot of service up there. So that's another nice thing about book distribution, is people become devotees. Now it's rare, for someone to become a devotee, but
I got a book as well.
Yeah, so the book made you. Here in Australia, that's what made you a devotee also. Yeah. Yeah, also I got a book in a library, but they have the saying that the pen is mightier than the sword. So especially Krishna's words. Krishna's words are very powerful. And so many thousands and thousands of people have joined because of getting Prabhupada's books. And it's still happening.
So when you're on the street distributing books, do you spend a lot of time discussing philosophy and Shastra with the interested person, or do you just focus on giving them the book quickly and then focus on more people to give books to? How do you make that switch? How do you allow
Mostly
time?
Do it, yeah, not very much time. Well, I show the pictures of the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, I show the changing bodies, and we've seen it a million times, but people see that the first time, and they're like, "Oh, wow!" And then I show usually how the sage, he sees within everyone the soul, Vidya Vinaya Sampane. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision the Brahmana, the cow, the elephant, the dog, and the doggy. So I show them that, and they appreciate that. I tell them that, see, if everybody saw like that, there'd be no war, no more racism, no more judging, be a more peaceful society. People like that a lot. And then I show the five senses, comparing, with the five horses. Oh, people love that one. Prabhupada put those pictures in the books for a reason.
Of course.
Yeah, he wanted people to
They can
to
quickly
see this.
understand
Yeah,
it.
very quick. Yeah, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So very quickly, people get an appreciation, and they get the books mainly because of the artwork. So I show these pictures, the karma, also the cow and the human, switching faces. So I show those pictures, and then I ask for donation. If people are showing some interest, I spend some time. Although we're a very personal society, sometimes we can be a little impersonal. People are inquiring, but we shouldn't be in too much of a rush. Try to, just like they have the saying, the bum's rush. Just get money and go, or get a book to them and go. We find people that are interested. We should spend some time with them. That could be the change in their life, just having some personal contact. I remember I was one time at a temple, and it was a hotel. Actually, it was in Miami, and I was speaking to one guest in the elevator shaft there, and he said, "I've been here 7 times, and this is the first time anybody spoke to me." So we're a personal society, so we had to be personal with people, not impersonal.
So it's an important fact of a efficient book distributor. It's not just focus on selling, distributing books, but building that relationship. So you inspire that person to actually read the book later on, because you've made them satisfied and happy in some way. Besides visiting temples and inspiring devotees to take up book distribution, do you have any projects, or are you setting up a center perhaps to train people on book distribution? Do you have any such things in the pipeline?
No, nothing like that. But I recently finished a book called the Brihat Mridanga, and it just finished the editing stages. So now I'm going to be talking to Bhima Prabhu, who's in charge of the BBT in India. He'll be printing it. So there'll be a hard copy and then also an e-book.
E-book.
So it's a pretty big book. It's about 900 pages.
When do you expect it to launch?
I don't know. We're going to talk to Bhima in just about a month, and we'll find out. But yeah, that's one thing I'm working on now.
Finally, Prabhuji, we love hearing stories from you, especially the book distribution stories. Of all the stories you have, which is the one most memorable book distribution story that you love to share, or it's
the
very
one
close to your
most
heart?
memorable? Well, you should have asked me that before. So there's one that kind of sticks out. Actually, it was door to door here in Australia. I was distributing in Brisbane, and I knocked on a door, and one man answered, and he saw I had the Bhagavad Gita, And he said, no, I'm not interested. I worship Satan. So I said, well, this book is about God. So you should know your enemy. He said, all right, good point. All right, I'll take one. So I gave a nice donation and took the Bhagavad Gita. Hopefully he found out that God is his best friend, Satan is his enemy. So on book distribution we have to not be mechanical, we have to use our head. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna, he says, prana artha diya vacha. He says everybody should utilize their life for the benefit of others. And Prabhupada, he actually said that he wanted to find devotees that were willing to give their life for giving Krishna to others. And we have many devotees that have now been distributing books over 4 decades, given their life for book distribution. Prana artha means wealth or giving contribution. So the best contribution to society is giving Krishna to others. This is the best thing that we can do for society. There's so many philanthropic movements, but this is the best movement for helping people understand what is best for them. And then diya means intelligence, so we have to utilize our intelligence on how to give Krishna to others. When we're distributing books, sometimes they have so many excuses why not to take. We got to use our intelligence. So it's an adventure. You never know, especially door to door, which is something I think we should get more involved in. Door to door book distribution is great. Here in Sydney, you have a lot of houses. We distributed books right around here, door to door, also, Sydney Temple, a few years ago, sometime back. In Brisbane, I was distributing books right next to the temple, just 2 doors down from the temple. One lady, she was a professor, and she said, "Oh, I've always wanted to read the Bhagavad Gita." And they were neighbors for over 20 years. And the devotees are going all over the place distributing, but right there, and just right behind the temple also, they took a Bhagavad Gita. So sometimes we're like going all over the places too, but right here.
It's right in your backyard.
Right in the backyard.
It's the acres of diamonds story, isn't it?
So that story was pretty amazing.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing these nuggets of wisdom. In order to be a good book distributor, one needs to be enthusiastic, determined, tolerant, have a goal, have sincere prayers, be intelligent, and keep at it. Because it's the best social service work, if you want to look at it that way, that you can possibly do. And it's a wonderful service to Srila Prabhupada and to our movement. And thank you so much from all of us for continuing to inspire us. And we look forward to welcoming you over and over and over again at ISKCON Sydney Temple. Thank you so much. And Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.